Parents, guardians, students, my name is Mr. Trimble. I'm the engineering and robotics teacher here at Hood River Valley High School. This video is to talk to you about Robotics 1 and Robotics 2 as we approach parent-teacher conferences in trimester 1. Let's start with Robotics 1. Robotics 1 has had 3 different units thus far. We started with Sphero robots, then we built Speed bots, which are small square robots, and then we built Claw bots. Each of those is its own unit, and if you look in the the Home Access Center, you will see that there's Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3. We're also having quizzes every 2 weeks. Each of those quizzes comes with a review and 1 retake opportunity. All student work can be found in Google Classroom. It's sorted by week, and if you take a look right here on the screen, you'll see all of the assignments that we've had going back through time. I do accept late work. The Sphero unit is over because those robots have left the building, but anything else that's late can still be turned in. And we do actually have robots right here in the classroom that students can use at any time. I always have my teacher robot. Students can come in at lunch or after school, Tuesdays and Thursdays during the robotics build sessions, and they can make up any of their work. This year in Robotics 1, we are following the Carnegie Mellon Robotics Academy robotics curriculum. We started with coding and computational thinking using VEX v5. This involves lots of different aspects. The first thing we do is we take notes. So I will always start any given idea with a set of notes, vocabulary, drawings, and mathematics. Students then use those notes to write computer code. We're coding in C++ in this class, and then they use that code to make a robot do an action that's related to the notes or the lesson for that particular day. For example, one of our early lessons was grabbing a ball off of a little donut and putting it up on top of a pedestal. Every set of notes needs to be in a student's notebook, and it needs to have at the end a summary. Your summary is 3 to 5 sentences that answer the essential question, ideally using the key vocabulary from that set of notes. Now, notes have no purpose unless they're used in class, so we immediately use our notes to write computer code. This is an example right here of C++ code in the V5 VEX computer coding environment. So all of your students right now are learning real C++ code, one of the best and one of the most powerful computer programming languages in the world. And we're using that to do things like this. Here it is. We're taking small robots. We're doing precise repeated movements. All right, this involves calling telemetry, collecting data, iterating, working through the design cycle as well as the engineering cycle to create robots that can dependably do the same thing over and over again. So this particular assignment was where they had to lift this ball to the same pedestal 5 times in a row without making a mistake. We're also doing little cross-country trips where robots are driving up and down the halls and hitting targets that are on the floor and then performing actions inside each of those targets. So in this particular case, this robot's going to hit a box. It's going to raise its arm. There it is. It's going to flash something on the screen, and then it's going to move on. Yeah. We're having a lot of fun in this class. Last week we decided to take a little break from our C++, and we are now this week working on just mechanical engineering. So students are designing a cantilevered bridge right now, and that project is going on this week. And then next week we're going to start adding in a bunch of different mechanical properties as we build up towards building custom robots. And you'll notice right here on the screen, that's little Groot, the bearded dragon. Groot is the classroom pet here in the class, a hypoallergenic bearded dragon from Australia who keeps everybody happy. If you have any questions about coursework, you go to Google Classroom with your student, you take a look. Anything that looks like a little clipboard here is something that the student can turn in. If you just click on any of these, it'll actually show you the student's score and if they've turned it in. And if they have anything less than a perfect score, then I will usually have a comment, or you can click on the rubric. And that rubric will tell you where it is that the points are coming from. So this one I was looking for 10 points for a successful set of code and 10 points for a video that follows this particular assignment. Notes are never late. They can always turn those in. There's a copy of notes in Google Classroom under each one of the assignments. You just click on the PDF and they pop up. So here's some notes on how to code a bumper sensor with conditional logic, classic computer science. If you have any questions about Robotics 1, feel free to reach out and email me. I'm now going to talk about Robotics 2. Robotics 2 is our competition class. Oh, it's over here. Robotics 2 is our competition class. All students in Robotics 2 have formed robotics teams in the VEX Robotics competition. They're all building robots. I don't have a lot of good videos.
This is cool.
Here's a recent one. They're coming together very well.
This is cool.
I love this one. This is a little conveyor belt that moves a ring, and then eventually that's going to pick it up and put it onto a mobile, which is held by the arm there.
Cool.
5 different teams working on a single challenge, and man, they have all sorts of different stuff going on. If you go to Google Classroom, right here on the stream, there's something called the Robotics 2 Engineering Notebook Checklist. This is actually basically the guide for the whole semester, starting from September 13th to December 3rd, trimester, sorry. We're currently down here on October 28, so we're currently working on our lift in our arm and our accumulator, which are things that picks things up and also stacks them on top of one another. All students are both building a robot, but then also keeping an engineering notebook. They can either do that on paper or they can do that digitally. Here's an example of mine digitally that I've been working on. It's got an example of how you might analyze the game, robots, pictures, and an analysis, pros and cons of different designs. We all went through a decision matrix, which is a classic engineering tool. And then students should have pictures and descriptions of their robots as they're building and as those robots change through time. I grade those engineering notebooks once every 2 weeks. I also have on Google Classroom, right here, you should see Robotics 2 Google Slides. You will see that there is a set of slides with a daily agenda. And one thing that I want to show you right here, here's the trimester. We have 5 different units. We're currently down here on the 28th. So today students should be wrapping up the building of their first lift or arm, and we're going to be taking a look at those today and early next week. And then they're working on accumulators and then continuing the engineering cycle as they build a robot. If you go to hrvrobotics.org/vex, there's the URL right there at the top of the page, you'll find all sorts of information. There's a Google Calendar with our after-school events as well as competitions that are there. Feel free to just hit that little plus sign and that will add it to your Google Calendar. I also have a list of all upcoming VEX Robotics competition events for this year. Our first one that we're going to together is the Doofer Hat Trip to Surface on November 13th. And right now I have I have 6 teams registered and a whole bunch of students going and quite a few parents who are interested in driving with us. And there's an off chance we're going to get a bus. We're going to see what happens. So the main competition season is in January and February, and then championships will be in March, April, and May. And just so you know, VEX Robotics does happen entirely within the school year. That's part of our focus on equity and making sure that all students can succeed simply by coming to the classroom and working hard. If you have any questions about grades, if you have any questions about missing assignments, feel free to reach out by email or by telephone, and I will be happy to answer those questions. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you at parent-teacher conferences.